Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chasing Adventures. And today I want to review almost perfect OneTigris Solo Homestead TC tent. So let's get right in. Alright, so I said this tent is almost perfect, and I'll explain why later, but I've used this tent in the snow with the stove inside the tent, and during a continuous rain that turned into a light snow in the morning, and it's been really great so far. It's got the space and overall just well thought out tent for a solo camper like me. And I think it's a true 4-season tent, which I was looking for anyways. And it's fairly easy to pitch by yourself. So let me go ahead and pitch this tent first to show you guys how easy it is to set up by yourself. And I'm also going to set a timer to see how much time it takes for one to set up. All right, how'd I do? "22 minutes and 30 seconds. Considering I had to untangle the guidelines and put the floor sheets and put the awning up, wasn't too bad. Now let's talk about the specs of this tent. So the tent is 157 inches by 94 inches, and the height is 63 inches tall, and the opening for the door is also 94 inches. And when it's packed, it's about 23 inches by 9 inches. It also includes 14 heavy-duty 9-inch tent pegs and 10 feet guidelines, and the same TC fabric footprint, which is placed with the buckle, so you have an option to remove it if you don't need it. Also, 2 main poles and 2 awning poles. It also has an opening for stovepipe with cover and large opening on both sides of the tent with mesh screen, and you could either roll up the outer cover or use it as an awning, and 2 good sized windows on the side of the tent, so you have plenty of ventilation and keep the bugs out. And you have a choice between coyote brown or OD green color, and the tent weighs in at 18.7 pounds, which is a bit heavier for the size of the tent. And that's because of the fabric, which is made out of Tetron cotton, short for TC, or better known as poly cotton. Now, the waterproof rating set by OneTigris is only at 350 to 400 millimeters, which is on the low end side of the chart. And even OneTigris recommends to use this tent in the light rain only. Now, to compare the same tent in the 50D nylon fabric, it has waterproof rating of 1,500 millimeters, which is a lot better than the TC fabric. But this is not because of the fabric that they used in this tent, because the fabric itself has excellent hydrophobic properties, so it repels the water like crazy, but it's because of the needle holes in the tent seams, which is a natural occurrence when you're putting 2 fabrics together, and this is why they use seam sealers on the nylon tents. Now, the pros of TC fabric is that it has excellent UV protection and shading. It's also flame retardant, and the durability is far better than that of a nylon or polyester counterparts. And from my experience, I have not seen any condensation buildup on the inside of the tent during my usage. And this is true because the fabric is very breathable, but because of the leaks I had, that's why I think this tent is almost perfect. And hopefully I won't have any more leaks after I weather the tent. So then it will be a perfect tent for solo campers like me. And what is weathering, you might ask? Well, basically we're going to pitch the tent in the rain and wet the tent and repitch it or tighten the tent and then dry the tent. And you do this a few times for the threads and fibers to swell and seal itself. And it's best to do this naturally in the rain, but since there's no forecast for rain for a while, I'm going to use a garden hose and wet the tent and let it dry completely, and then repeat this process a few times. And this goes for canvas tent as well. So I'll be doing this over the week, and I'll come back to you guys when it's done and complete my review. All right guys, so I've been weathering the tent for a few days now, and during my last camping trip in the rain, I had the tarp partially over the tent to give me more space to access in the rain. So only half of the tent was exposed to the rain. and it was only leaking at the top of the door seams. And the first day I was weathering the tent, it was leaking from the same spot, but from the side that wasn't exposed to the rain. And the side that was exposed to the rain was not leaking anymore. So I think it cured naturally on the side that was exposed to the rain. And I was really spraying the tent full blast and focusing on the seams to a point where if it's raining that hard, you might as well just pack up and leave, because that's like hurricane status. And of course, I still have to test that out in the real world, but from the few days of me testing, I'm happy to announce that it doesn't leak anymore, and inside the tent is bone dry. And no condensation buildup either, so I'll continue to use the tent in the rain and keep you guys updated if I find anything else. But for now, the tent is a perfect tent for me. But like all things, if I had to nitpick, I wish the stove jack hole was a bit smaller or not cut at all, because my titanium stovepipe is pretty skinny and there's a large gap between the stove jack and the pipe. So I'm afraid if I use it in the rain, it'll leak from there. But that could be easily solved by using another stove jack fabric and covering it up and making my own hole to fit the stovepipe. And I wish it had a spot to hang the lantern inside the tent, but again, that's solved by using lantern hooks on the poles. And what else? Oh yeah, I wish the placement of the windows were on the opposite side of the tent, because when I use it in the rain, I'll likely to have the tarp set up like how I had it before, and the window is going to be exposed to the element and I can't open it. But again, that's easily solved by leaving a part of the front door or entrance open, so it's not a huge deal. And the positive of this tent weighs out the little minor negatives. So I highly recommend this tent if you're looking for a 4-season tent. And if you're interested in purchasing, you could use my discount code CHASINGADV10 and get 10% off of your order. And I'm not sponsored by them, but I did join their affiliate program, so I do get a tiny kickback if you use my code. Plus, it'll save you guys some pretty pennies too. And I'll leave the link to the tent and the discount code in the video description as well. And I just want to take a moment to say, in order for me to give you guys an honest review, I did try to use my gears in the harsh conditions, and a lot of effort goes in making a video. So I would really appreciate it, and will help the channel grow if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if my information was helpful. And do check out my silent camping video and give them a like too, because someone said it's the best video to binge and fall asleep to. And if you have any questions regarding the tent, drop a comment down below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, keep chasing adventures, and bye for now.